Hello, and a big welcome to all the friendly ghosts, good witches, pumpkin-loving journalers in this community we are all so lucky to be a part of. Thank you for stopping by. I am Kimberly of Journal Breeze and host of the 28th day of the Howl-o-ween Journal Challenge. My prompt is trick, and that's a tricky one, right? Before I get started, I want to give gratitude and appreciation to Kia of Kia Creates and Inspiring Journals for organizing this challenge and YouTube collaboration for the first time this year. I am thrilled to be a part of it. Thank you, Kia, and also to Francesca of Junk Journal Joy, who put us together. You will find all links, including the playlist and the kits I used, in the description box below. So with that, let's begin. Now, what do you think my trick will be? I promise you won't guess it. I made this journal probably 2018, 2017, and I brought it out of hiding for this challenge, and I am excited to update it. I hadn't really decorated it. I had chosen a lot of pages that were decorated, and I made it with file folders, 3 file folders, so I could put papers and whatever I wanted inside of the pockets. But I will save the flip through for our flip through day, which is the last day of this month. And I will take you to an example of the page that I'm going to show you how to make today. See if I can lower this a little bit. So this is what you would see when you turn to the page. And we discover that there's a tiny little veiled pull tag. Is that fun? You know this is the scream. So you might think that's the trick, but it's not. Yeah, these are headless women. Yep, their heads are next to their body. Oh my gosh. I thought that the best trick would be more of a psychological one because I couldn't imagine, that's just where I went. And so I discovered something online that was really popular in the 1920s and then again in the 2012s. It's called horse manning, and it's based on the legend of Sleepy Hollow, written by Washington Irving in 1819. And in this horse manning phase that people went through on the internet, they would show their bodies without their head and then have their head next to them. So I thought this was quite the trick. Obviously that head is belonging to somebody else who's squatted down. But who would expect to open up this beautiful window in a scary building and see that? But I, of course, had to use this wonderful Scream napkin that I was given in a swap exchange, a napkin exchange. And I have only 2 left. Only 2. So I've come up with a different plan for the one I'm going to make with you today because they're precious. I mean, have you ever seen a napkin like this? I feel so lucky. So lucky. I think it actually came from a swap I did with a woman in Norway. So there you go. All right, so I hope you like this idea. And it's a little fiddly, and it really depends. I'm going to shut this for now. It really depends what sizes you cut and how you make it based on what frame you choose. I bought these frames from Tim at Hobby Lobby, and I actually had bought this probably a couple years ago now or longer, but I was able to find a new package just the other day. So they're still selling it. Baseboards. Let's see, does it have a number? Yeah, the number is TH94248. That's not very clear. And it has a lot of windows. I picked this one because, well, I really like it a lot. It looked like it would be on a haunted house that opened like that. And but the other good size frames in the package are this one and this one. That said, you don't have to buy the Tim Holtz frame. You can always draw one on, food containers. This is a pretty heavy duty cardboard, and it's not as thick as this, but you could put two together, glue them together, and it would make it plenty. It would be just like a board, which this is just like a board. And then I also distressed this frame. It was white. It did have the distress marks in there, but I put a lot of brown on it, and now that I look at it, I feel like it might even need more. You could get really into the frame and put Mod Podge, when I work with Tim Holtz products, to distress them on their frames. I Mod Podge the outside, and then I sand it down. Sometimes I sand it a little bit and Mod Podge it and then sand it again. And then I do the different distressings and whatnot on top of it. But I wanted this to primarily be this coloring, so I didn't want to, completely make it dark, for example. So I was happy with this. And then I need to blacken the edges. You know what I want to do? I want to take this spooky because it has holes in it. It's an antique, and it's so holy that there's a patch on it. Look at this. I mean, I bought it this way, but isn't that... Oh, can you tell? Look at that. Beautiful stitching. They did it by machine, but it made for a beautiful patch. These holes came after. All right. So we're going to put some black on the edges of the frame. So I hope that you're enjoying this challenge. I know that I'm recording this before it begins, but I'm excited. I've gotten to know some of the people. They're wonderful. They're excited. They're full of different ideas. There'll be different ways that they present, different lengths in time. And we all kind of, have our way of doing it. And Kia wanted us to be ourselves and put together the kind of video that we want to put together. So she was really great that way. And then she supplied a lot of enthusiasm and a lot of, signage and prompts and ideas. She gave us a quick fire round, which I'll do later. And that was fun. It was super fun. So we should have a good time here. I'm going to move along at a good pace so this doesn't take a real long time. I hope I can do it in a half hour. And then you also have to get the black inside. And that's a bit tricky. And you might choose to do a brown. I'm going to do black. I actually had a different plan for what I was going to put in my demonstration one. And last night, I came across some new digitals that I hadn't seen, that I didn't own. I now own them. I've printed them, I've cut them, and I'm including them. And I got so excited about them, I decided I would change what I put in the windows on this one. So I won't be using my other screen, and it will be different than the one I just showed you. So that's exciting. There we go. So that looks good. It changes it when you put the distress on the inside. It makes it look a little more, gives it depth, so it looks more three-dimensional. And also I want it to look really, 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 really old and really, really haunted. Okay. All right. So once you have your frame, let's see, the page that I'm doing this on, I won't be working on the page at the beginning, but the page I'm working it on is going to be here. I'm going to be putting it here, and I'm going to have this as the background. So I'll be gluing that down, and then this will be the background, and this will be here, so that this isn't really going to show. Let me get this. I'm one of those people that likes to do everything before I glue, because if I make any kind of a major mistake, I want to have the freedom to rip it out and do it again. So that's why I have these paper clips and stuff on here. You know, just in case. I'm a big believer in ripping out and starting again. I have no problem with that. But I generally just try to fix what I started, and, you know, I don't hardly ever have to rip out. So this will go like that. Oh yeah, oh look at how good the black looks against that background. Oh my gosh, that looks so good. Doesn't it look even more distressed than before? Oh, I think so. I think it looks great. Okay, all right. So some ideas, like this is what I used for the one that I showed you at the beginning, and I fit it in there, and those are tombstones. So you could have it like that, or it could be up higher like that. That's beautiful. And then this is the one that I'm using today, and I just lined up this curl with that, and I was going to make my paper that goes behind the door look like this. That was my original plan as of last night, and it was going to fit in right there. But you had to be really kind of close up to appreciate how similar it was. It's kind of just dark, and you don't really, your eye doesn't really want to go through the door in the same way as the one I showed you at the beginning. You really looked into that window. And even though this is super cool close up, it really wasn't that cool, you know, from a distance, and also just looking at it, not knowing how I made it, it loses its impact. So I decided what I would do is use a different insert, and then I'm going to use what I put on the back to show when it opens. Okay, so let me make sure I stay in frame. I seem to be getting out, and I apologize for that. Okay, so where's my little stack of what I'm using? Oh yeah. Okay, so just to have fun, close your eyes. I'll put the picture in that I've chosen, and when I tell you to open, you can then see what I've done. Okay, not yet. Hold on. Okay, open. Can you see it? There's a ghost. Can you see the ghost? Oh my gosh. This amazing kit is from Sweetpea Curiosities. It's the one I found last night, and the name of this kit is Spooky Ghosts and Haunted Houses. It's extremely well named. And this beautiful kit I've had for honestly, forever, many, many years. And it's by Manu Design Studios. Okay. So now what you do, I'm going to, again, kind of make this without using the page, because that's kind of how I operate. And what we're going to do is we're going to fit this, we're going to glue it on here, fit it on here, and then the back looks like this. So I took the page, cut it out. Again, this is going to be the original. It was on thin paper, and I backed it. Now this was a piece of fabric that I own, that I made copies of. Literally, it's just a video. So, or just a Xerox copy. So it's just perfect. At the time, I thought the screen was going to show, but now I'm showing something else, which at this moment I can't even remember what it is. What am I putting in there? Oh, you know what? Oh no, I am putting the scream in. I'm going to use the scream. Oh my God, I've been working on it all morning. Okay, so, oh my gosh. All right, so in order to make this, I think, look the best, I decided that I wanted the bottom of the picture to be right up against the bottom of the window. I mean, it had to be a little bit further down because the ghost head wouldn't show. And then that left a little bit of a space at the top. So by putting that brown paper underneath it, it just sort of looks like this room has no roof, which is perfect for a haunted establishment. And it's not really where your eye goes anyway. Your eye goes right there. So, you know, I liked it. Could also be like rafters or something like that. All right, so I've been using, which is not typical for me, but I've been using glue stick, and I really recommend this glue stick by Tombow, and it's the mono glue stick, and it's really, really good. I got it at Michael's, and so that's what I've been using ever since I discovered it. I think it's $5 for 3. So it's, you know, it's affordable, and I think it works really, really well. Much better than the other glues I've tried, and it lasts. Okay. So one of the things that Kia and some of the other collaborators thought would be fun, which I'm sure you've realized by now because you've probably watched a bunch, is the quick fire. So I may not do it quick. I might do it piecemeal. But the first one is, do you prefer cozy or a spooky aesthetic? And my answer is spooky. I love spooky. But you will see as we go down the page of quick fire rounds that I have my limits. So at this point, spooky. But right next to it is cozy. Absolutely love the cozy feel, the cozy look. Cozy, cozy, cozy. Don't like cozy mysteries. I like real mysteries, or, you know, long, hard to figure out mysteries. All right, there we go. And then this is like that. So you realize that you're going to draw your sizes based on your frame. So I don't have to really say more than that. You all know that. All right, and I use glue stick again for this. This frame is so old it got a little bit warped. So the middle, actually, I don't know if it's going to meet the paper. And I don't know that I should try to make it meet the paper. I think it's fine if it doesn't. It actually kind of looks more real, not being totally attached. And since I've got 3 layers of paper here, it's not going to bend or anything like that. Okay, so the next quick fire is pumpkin spice latte or hot chocolate. Well, I love both. Absolutely adore both. But the pumpkin spice latte is only around, you know, well, now it started in August, but September through December. And I think they even switched to peppermint after Thanksgiving. So I am voting for the pumpkin spice anything, since it's seasonal. I was thrilled they started earlier this year. I thought that was the best thing they could have done. And I bought all the pumpkin stuff that was on the end of the aisles of the grocery store as soon as it came out a couple weeks ago, or longer. It was in August, I think. So yummy. But I do like hot chocolate also, although I don't buy dairy types. I buy non-dairy types, but it's so delightful to drink that. And marshmallows are fun to have in it, little miniature marshmallows. All right, so now I'm going to put this on here, and this tomboy bow sticks quickly. There's not a lot of wiggle room. My recommendation is that you pick a background, or pick your inner window. If you layer it up like I do, then it would be the bottom layer. Or if it's your only picture, pick something that is similar in color to your actual page. That way the frame really gets the attention and you don't notice that it might be sticking out a little bit on the edge like this one is. And I just would be afraid to cut it. I don't think it's worth cutting. Okay, so I like to turn it over and go like this. Okay. Oops. Oh yeah, that's hard. Okay. Okay. Looks like I knocked off a little black down here. There we go. All right. Okay. I feel like the distressing can just get off the shiny frame so easily. All right, so there we are. We've got our front picture. And I love it. I love our ghost. All right, so the next thing we have to do, this is the part that's the toughest, is getting your window that fits into, it has to fit exactly into the frame, because you're going to slide it in. It's not going to come out the side because you're not going to indicate to the person when you get to that page that you can open it. You're going to keep it all flat and look like all you can do is take out the tab. Boo! So that the trick is really that it does open and there's a really stunning picture behind it. That's the way I looked at it. You know what? This is not glued down right there. Okay, so when that happens, I use my craft art glitter glue because I feel like I need to get it in a tiny area. Oops. Okay. Okay. Let's make sure we've got it everywhere else. Okay. Oh, look, it could have been moved up a little bit. It's not going to move. Okay, perfection is not my aim. Best try, good intention, those are my aim. Who's going to look at all the corners? Nobody. And it's supposed to be fun. So if I get ridiculous about it, then, there goes the fun. So I'm good. I'm good. All right. So this is a sticky wicket part, as I say. It's got to slide inside. So when I drew around the frame, I will not cut on my line. I will cut in so that it will be inside the frame. And I moved the frame up a tad so there would be it would be certain to be high enough. Oh, maybe I didn't. Oh yeah, I did. I did this little bit so that it would be. Is my head in the picture? Yes. So that it would be just a little bit higher, so that the tab, would have something to rest on. but this is the tricky part. And you have to find the window with the right size, or the envelope with the right size window. So, you know, there's quite a variety out there that are very close, so just find one that'll work. And then you have to die cut a rectangle. This is the closest die cut size, and you can see that it's smaller than my actual window. But, you know, it's not a problem, and it's what I could find, and the die cut cuts better than my hands. So I'm good with that. But here's my suggestion to you when you die cut. Cut your piece bigger. The piece you're going to die cut it bigger than it needs to be, so that you don't, it's so skinny what you're going to end up with, that if you die cut it with that skinny of an area, it could rip, or at least it's going to bend, and it won't look very good. So just make a bigger piece. And then I darkened where the white would show in case any did, because it is going to be on the outside of this window. Alright, so I chose a dark brown color again. I can see that this is showing the white. Hold on. Let me do this while I'm thinking of it. Yeah, I didn't really glue this on as good as I could. It should have been shifted a little bit, but it doesn't show. So now I'm going to cut I am the kind of person that's careful. Oh, my favorite ruler is not right in front of me. Alright, hold on 1 second. I'm going to put you on pause. Okay, my favorite ruler. I am going to cut before I glue, because I'm afraid if I don't, I won't glue it on the page correctly. So I want to get the sides. I drew them on here. I know they might be hard for you to see, but I'm going to cut on the inside of them. If it's too big, I can cut it after, because it will be, you know, relatively flat, unlike the frame. So the next quick fire is walks in the forests with crispy leaves or curled up with a blanket. Absolutely walks in the forest with crispy leaves. We don't get too many of those in Southern California because we don't have too many crispy leaves, but it is memories of my past that come through when I think about that. We would rake up huge piles of leaves because we had a really big yard, and then we jump in them. I'm sure you all do that too if you have the opportunity. It's so fun. It was a blast. I even liked raking because it was very light. It wasn't like snow. It was very, very light. It was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. So, and if I curl up with a blanket, I'm usually freezing cold in my own house. So I don't pick that because that's like a necessity. Okay, let's see. Cutting this carefully. And it still might be too big when I'm done. So, that's what I mean about this being a little bit fiddly. Not hard, but a little bit fiddly. And then I also want to put the black Distress ink, or did I pick brown? I think I picked brown on the inside. Let's see. Mostly it's to get rid of the white, because there is white visible. Okay. And what's another quick fire? Okay. Do I want to watch a spooky movie or read a spooky book? again, the answer without a doubt is read a spooky book. Oh my gosh. I was ruined for spooky movies when I saw The Exorcist. That movie, honestly, I hardly saw it because once I was scared, I just buried my face in my boyfriend's shoulder, and that was it. His chest. It was over. I couldn't watch another thing. And I watched it recently, like maybe last Halloween. And, you know, it did not have the same impact, let's just say. I could see how gruesome it was and sad, and I can see why it was scary and shocking and all of that. But, you know, nowadays we're a lot more aware of special effects and stuff than then. So sometimes you can just step back and go, oh, that's fake, that's fake. But it didn't change the fact that I don't really like to be scared in a movie. But I love reading spooky books. I love being scared in a book. Not gruesome. I'm not into gruesome. Don't need blood to make me happy. I just love spooky stuff, mystery stuff that also has spooks. Is fun. And I watch spooky shows on TV that aren't trying to scare you per se because they're real time, you know, realistic, ghost hunting kind of things. And I enjoy them immensely. I just find them fascinating. I try to learn things, and just love the whole thing. So the two Halloween journals I've made have all been ghost journals. But with this kit from Sweetpea Curiosities, it's hit a new high, let's just say. All right, so with that done, what I'm going to do is lay it down and see. Yeah, so you can see if I put it down at the bottom. Okay, you can see that the orange line is here and the orange line is there. So my trim, maybe I should glue it down before I put, yeah, I think I should. I'm going to glue it down. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Okay, I'll cut it out after I glue it down, and I'll cut just to be sure it can slide in. Okay, you can see how close those margins are. Really close. But that's what I wanted. I wanted it to be really close because why not? You know, it gives you more view of the real thing. Okay, so I'm going to glue this on. I am going to, should I glue this or should I glue it on here? Well, I might get it on the plastic, so I'll glue it on here. I think I'll cut this base off right to the bottom. I wasn't sure if the white was going to show. Looks like it's not going to if I do it correctly. So I'm just going to leave it there. Well, I'll cut it off. Okay. All right. So the next quick fire, which isn't so quick. Quick is not my thing. Getting things pretty close to what I want is my thing. I have a vision, and I do like to go off the road from that. I don't need to stay with my vision, but unless I see something that really makes me think I have a better idea on how to do it or a different outcome, like this whole thing I'm making with you today is different than I've been planning for 2 weeks. It was all cut out, all figured out, and now I've changed it as of this morning. So there you go. Oops. Okay. I'm so afraid that's going to happen again. Let me put, let's see. I like to work on wax paper. All right, so I am going to start this on the bottom. move it over a little bit. Okay. Alright, and then I'm going to glue the rest. Now it will be by the window. Okay. Okay. I think I'll get it on both. Alright, and then this side. Okay, so the quick fire is witches or ghosts. Well, even if you've never watched me before, you sure must know what that would be. For me, ghosts. Ghosts intrigue me. The afterlife is what I think of when I think of ghosts. Spirits that are stuck and helping them over to heaven or the other side is a worthy thing to do, and that's what these shows on TV do. Ultimately, after they find out their story and get the history on the building and figure out, what they might want, what needs to be understood, then they can help the people pass over. And I think that's cool. Okay. All right, good. Alright, the next one is black cats or bats. Well, I love cats, and I love black cats. I have a black dog right now, and I have a Maine Coon cat, and she's got, she looks like a calico. She's got the brown, white, black, big white tummy, big white paws, partial white on her face. But black cat. Bats, not so much. And then lastly, and you certainly will understand this one too when I tell you, it's haunted house or pumpkin patch. If I have to do it, it's pumpkin patch. If I get to use it as a theme, it's haunted house. So that's where I have the breakdown. I could never go into a haunted house. I'd be scared out of my mind. But I think it's fascinating to watch other people with their machines, their technology, doing it. I think it's fascinating. Or when the psychics come on, I love that. Some of them are amazing. Some of them, who cares? They're not really saying anything you can't figure out for yourself. Okay. Yes, I used to be a quilter, so I still use the rotary cutter this way. I find it easier than using the blade. The blade one, it takes some practice. This, it doesn't. Oops. Yeah, that's right. Okay. So I'm going to make this black here on the bottom. I don't think it's going to really show up, but just in case. And I don't want to cut it because this bottom allows you to get the scream in perfectly, because it's going to flip open when I cut off this top. Clean up some of this mess. Okay, all right. I hope you're crafting along with me. Hope you're making something. Maybe you're working on your own version of Trick. Gosh, I'd love it if you'd put what you made for Trick, if you can describe it, in the comments. I'd love to know what you did. I think it's one of the hardest ones on the list. Trick. So when I was a kid, we always trick-or-treated. And we had a very safe neighborhood. And our parents never had to come along with us or anything. and all the kids were doing it at the same time. And it was in the Midwest, so the leaves had fallen, and the streets were often wet because it was often raining, and it was dark. The clocks used to turn back prior to Halloween. Now they've moved it up, which is much safer. Oh, look at that, it's really sticking out. Okay, let me cut that off a little more. And we didn't wear store-bought costumes usually. Usually my mom would we'd tell her what we wanted to be, and she would come up with different ways that we could do that. And when I remember being a ballerina a few times, because I did take dance, and I was Mary Poppins one year, and that was fun, but I had to carry an umbrella, so I ended up having one hand getting very, very tired, so then I ended up not wearing the umbrella, but people still guessed because Mary Poppins was so popular. Alright, now I'm going to okay. There we go. Anyway, we would go out, and there were so many people in the neighborhood, and so everybody was home. You know, everybody participated. It was a big deal. And we would get just a you-know-what load of candy. Oh my gosh, so much candy. We'd have to make a trip home just to drop it off. The bags were getting too full. It was just amazing. And I still had the majority of that candy, uneaten, unopened, untouched, by the time Easter rolled around, and we were now going to have another bunch of candy given to us. I loved certain pieces, and that was it. And I would give stuff away, and my mom would pick what she wanted, and I would trade with my brother, so I could get what I wanted, and I would eat those things. But everything else, which was most of it, I left it. I didn't want it. I just didn't want it. So I don't know eventually what happened to it. I guess it got tossed out. Nobody really realized that I wasn't eating it, that I was keeping it. I think I felt a little bad, but I didn't want it. It just, I'm not really a sweets eater, candy eater. I like tart. That should have been on the quick fire. So that's what I remember, is always having enormous bags of candy. Never bugs. No bugs got into it. Everything was wrapped. I think I put it in my closet or under my bed. Must have been my closet, because they would have cleaned under the bed. Okay, so good. Let's see if it sits in there. Yeah, it's gonna be a tight fit. It's gonna be perfect. Okay, so now, did I decide on this screen? I feel like I had another picture, but I think I was working on the one for underneath. So, Scream it is. I figure there's hardly any opportunities to use the Screamer, so since this is such the perfect way to use him, it seemed only right that I put it in here. I'll put him on a little different angle than in the other one. The other one I was over to the left, so I'll go over to the right. Okay, put it just like that. And the way that I glued this was, once again, I glued it to the frame, and I didn't glue it to the back because I didn't want like one area to be stuck down. I like that it's kind of ripply because the painting is so ripply. Yeah, it does look different setting it in a different place. So, okay, let's do this. How are we doing on time? Pretty good. Pretty good. So, how many of you ate all your candy and got sick to your stomach versus how many of you saved your candy, like me, or ate it slowly over time. I mean, I ate it slowly over time, even though I only ate a little bit of it. I did not eat a lot at one time. I savored it. I used to make a bag of M&Ms. Like, they would give little tiny bags of M&Ms. They probably still do have those, but that was one that I liked. And it would last me a couple days. Those little bags, I would eat them individually, and each candy, I would suck on it until all the flavor from the coloring came off. And then I would have a soft chocolate middle, which is what I wanted, because I don't really like chocolate. So the more the flavor was out of there, the better off I was. And, oh, this is the wrong direction. Wow. Oh my gosh, I'm glad I figured that out. Okay, so I'm going to put this here. Okay. Okay, so this is going to go like that. So I'm going to put this here. Is that right? Is that how I want it? Up a little higher, because I want to get as much of his body as I can. Yeah, I think that's it. Okay. Okay, all right. Okay. Okay. All right. I remember when I was a very little girl, I was in grade school, and my mom said that I could throw a Halloween party. And so I was excited, and I invited girls from school. I think I was like, I don't know exactly, maybe 8 or 9, maybe 3rd grade or 4th grade. And the one thing I remember is that my mom took a bowl and filled it with raw grapes peeled and pasta cooked, and that's what I remember, but there was more in it. And then we all had to have our eyes shut, and she would pass around each thing. So we wouldn't get the bowl, we'd get the thing, and it would be she would put it in our hands. And I think we each got the same thing at one time, and it just felt like eyeballs. The grapes were eyeballs, and the pasta was, I think, intestines, and it was so realistic. I couldn't keep my eyes shut. It freaked me out, and this is my own mom in my own house. And I was so freaked out that I opened my eyes. I probably wasn't the only one, but yeah, so I am easily scared, let's just say. Easily. Okay, this worked out well. This window, can you see? It's got like some wrinkles in it automatically, and that's cool. I think the more wrinkled up you can find for your window, better. And then you want to cover the back. I won't do that here because it's so easy, but cover the back so that, it probably won't show, but when you pull the tag out, oh, you know what I didn't do? Well, I'll do it when I cover the back. But you need to put like a little tag. And what I used was a black netting a black thin see-through. Let's see, do I see it here? I don't see it, but if you just took, hold on a second. Yeah, no, I don't see it. You could take a piece of lace, if I took this off the background, for example, but the other one, little piece of netting, so you can't see it hardly at all. You're looking at the window. And then pulling it up, it kind of disappears, you know? You're really looking at the picture. So you can see that I set the tag up to go along with this flooring. So it looks like, oops, so it looks like it's part of the background. Just for fun. I just like to make things kind of look good from all angles. So some sort of lace as the pull tag, which can then go right above here. And it's got to have some girth so that you can actually pull on it and get somewhere with it. Now this I'm going to be able to take down a little bit. I think that's a little high. But we'll see once I put it on the background. But it's also not even, so I'm probably going to want to change that anyway. We'll see. It might not show, and then it wouldn't be a problem. All right, so then finally, we're going to put this on the page. So what you need for this is black tape. I use a bookbinding tape that's on the narrow side. Looks like this. Got it at Michael's. It's in a container of 4 that are different widths, 2 like this, 1 narrower and 1 wider that you would use for binding. So I am using it to tape the frame in. And it's going to be taped underneath this. So the tape sort of keeps this in place, so I don't have to do anything about it. I'm not worried about it falling out because the tape is rough and it ends up taping it in place. So again, I'm going to take this out because I don't want to work on a tilt like that. There we go. Yeah. Okay. As I say, this book has quite a bit in it. Okay. So I'm going to set this up so that it lines up with this edging here. I think that looks good. Do you see that edging that has the same shape? And then you don't even notice, probably, this. If I have it there and I have the window there. I mean, a trick has to be deceptive until it's revealed. That's why I'm being particular about this. Yeah, this looks like it's just extending out a little bit, so I don't want that. So I'm going to cut this off, and I'm going to draw around it to do that. A little bit up isn't a problem, but that much, that's a problem. Okay, let's see. Okay. I'm cutting it right on the line because it's a little bit below the line. So, as you can imagine, I'm picky about what the candies are that I give away to children. I don't pick chocolates because all that sugar really can be harmful to people that are sensitive to it. all parents know that. So I'm not saying anything you don't know, but you know, the research supports it. So it concerns me, and I don't want to contribute. If they choose to give their kids sugar on Halloween, that's their decision, and I'm not judging them. I just don't want to contribute. So I buy things that are more candy oriented without as much sugar. I can't even think what I pick. Sweet Tarts is one of them. It's got sugar in it, of course, but it's got other things. I don't know, I look for things that are unusual and fun. Things have, come along that taste a lot sweeter than what the sugar content is, and that's fine too. Okay. Now that's just got a little bit peeking out, and I think it's going to be okay. Let's see. You know what I think I need to do? I like to do this. I like to camouflage. Here we go. What I notice is this up against that. So I am going to darken this. And then that way, it may not show. And it just looks like that then. It's not a problem. I usually use larger pads. I don't use these normally, but I don't have a large black one except for Stays On, and I really wanted it to be distressed, so I just grabbed those out of my container. Okay. There you go. Now that, oh my God, look at how good that looks on the brown. You got the ghost. So think about things that contract, that light and dark. Just try to, the light is so weird. I hope you can see that great ghost. It's cloudy as heck outside, and I have skylights over me, so the sun is coming in. It's not just the lights around me, and that can affect how it comes out. All right, I'm super excited about this. I wish I could find that black so I could put it on there. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to tape this exactly where I want it. So let's see. This is going to be here. It's like between these two windows, window. And I'm going to go like this. And then I'm going to put a little more black on here. And now I will cut this tape. You could use washi. Just make sure you use glue with it so that it, really, really sticks. I put two on. I put one on and then another. Oh, it's not quite right. No. Okay, let's go like this. All right, and then, oops. Okay. All right. And then kind of press in the tape. I'm sorry I keep getting off camera. It's kind of funny why. It's because I cleaned off my desk. There was so much stuff up here. And so I cleaned it, and there's still some things, but they're neat, and I can get to them easily. And it allowed me to put the overhead camera, further in. And now I'm coming off screen. So let me move it closer. Okay, that's better. Sorry, it took me to now to figure that out. Okay. You guys, I really recommend you get a dark background. Whatever you use a dark background, because even the tape where it's folded, if you really were on a light background, you would see it. And then it doesn't open all the way, which is perfect because a window wouldn't lay flat. So I love that. So then I put another one on just to be absolutely certain that everything is connected. And I put it on the door. I put it on the paper. Okay, I'm gonna cut that off a little bit. And then here. Oops. Okay, perfect. Okay. All right. So this will go in here. There we go. And voila! It disappears. It disappears. Okay. Now we're going to glue in our picture. And we will be done. I feel like this paper is just sucking up the ink. I just have to keep inking it. It's wild. Okay. Again, I want you to shut your eyes, and then I will show you the page that I picked for the last part. It's too big, I have to cut it down, so it's not, I can't lay it in place. Okay? You ready? Is that amazing? Or what? Is that freaking amazing? Oh my gosh. I love it! Oh, that's a trick. You don't expect to see that jumping out. Now you know what the screamer's screaming about. Okay, so I thought I would wait to cut this when you're around. Because, again, it's got to fit underneath the window. So, I wasn't quite sure. Oh, okay. Let's see. If I put it all the way in, yeah. So I drew a line thinking it may not go all the way in. But it could go all the way in, and I could have avoided doing that line. It would have been fine. But now I've done it. So, I'm cutting it there. And all I do is glue it down. So the showstopper is the easiest part. Once you find it, it's the easiest part. Let's make sure about the length. Okay. And then we've got, this is the line I'm going to cut on. So I hope you guys are not having any weather issues that are going to interfere with any of the parties you're going to for Halloween or things your kids do. I know they have a lot of outdoor stuff here, and they do a lot of special things for kids so that they don't have to trick-or-treat to have a good time. A lot of the churches and community centers started doing more stuff like that where the parents just take them there and they don't even go door to door. That's really altered the way that Halloween is around here. I really miss the way Halloween used to be. I loved seeing all the little kids. Loved it. And now, you know, it's just hit or miss. The ones that do come, I adore seeing. Their parents are always standing in the street waiting for them. Only the really older kids, and not too many of those trick-or-treat anyway, come alone. Otherwise, everybody's in a group with 2 or 3 moms standing out by the curb. Not that I live in a bad neighborhood. It's just the way it is. It's just everybody does it no matter where they live. Because the bad guys know where the kids are going to be. So it's not the neighborhood. It's the people who come into the neighborhood. So anyway, enough about that. All right, let's see. Now we will glue this down here. That's it. Oh my gosh, do you love it? Tell me you love it. Oh God. Oh, what a picture! Oh my God. It couldn't be more perfect. I did art glitter glue on this because the other glue would affect the background too much. I hope you like this project. You may have done something like this before with stuff sliding out of frames, but how often did you have a dual surprise underneath the frame? That's what I thought was cool. So that was part of the trick. It's two things, not one. And then, of course, those girls with their heads chopped off. That's hysterical. Okay, fit right in the door frame there. Oh yeah. Oh my gosh, it's so perfect. You know, this background is from another designer. The first one I showed you was from Manu Design Studio. It was a cement building. This wooden doorway is from, it's a kit called the Manor kits, and the designer is ReleasetheCraftin. She doesn't say crafting, she says craftin. So ReleasetheCraftin. And she sells it under the Manor 1 and the Manor 2. So the Manor 1 are these big pages, and the Manor 2 is the ephemera. This is another one from her kit. So this is what was in the window of the first one I showed you. Yeah, they're both really, they're realistic kits compared to some of the, more, different flavor ones that speak more to Halloween. These speak more to spooky, I would say. Okay. Now we're going to put that in the page. I'm going to glue it down. It's kind of heavy, so I thought I would use my other glue. I'm glad I thought of that. Fabri-Tac. I am going to put it, let's see, this is going to be down there, in there, into there. Okay. There and there. Oops. So I'm lining up the end of this clip to be right where the paper should be so that I can glue inside of it. I think gluing is my least favorite part because it ends up changing. Or it can end up changing how it all looks, because it can wet the paper, it can, can cause parts of it to go places you don't want, and then you can't unstick them. Not always, but on big pages, it can be tricky. But this door does have weight with everything connected to it, so a good gluing is essential. And I'm sure you could use a really good glue of choice on your end. You don't have to use this, but that is a good sticking glue. Alright, and then I think I'll start in here. I like that it's movable. Okay. The kit that I made this with in 2017 or 18 was primarily blues and greens, dark aqua, blue-green, gold, orange, gold color, not gold, and black, and some white. So I picked these file folders to correspond to that kit. And I was so new into journal making. I didn't even know that there was a sponge to use a distresser with. I kept just rubbing it along the edges of my paper. I mean, there just wasn't as much, taught about it or talked about it on YouTube even. There's some, but maybe I wasn't finding the right people, but they wouldn't necessarily show how they would distress until I finally figured it out on someone's YouTube. I am so grateful for YouTube. It is really... I was using mostly Facebook, and went from doing a lot of collage art to doing junk journaling. So I just stayed on Facebook. I was part of Margaret Miller's original Facebook group, and really for a couple of years or more, and loved it. And then she was showing her junk journals, and that got me thinking about it. And then I just started going in that direction because I have a lot of old ephemera, and I like decorating. So I just kept going to, like Junk Journal Junkies and different ephemera's garden, to their websites, to their Facebook pages, and sometimes websites, and that would be where I was learning. So I did not even realize that YouTube was a source of instruction and inspiration for probably, I don't know, quite a while. I hate to make it up, and I don't really remember, but at least it was a couple years, I bet. So, yeah, so I made this thing. It wasn't the scariest thing, but there was hardly any papers that they sold that looked like real ghosts. I mean, really, these don't look like real ghosts. This is photoshopped, but it still has a sense of it, and I bought this a long time ago. So they've come a long way now. Now the ghosts look, except for the eyes cut out, they look a lot more like a spirit. All right, now I'm going to put in what I just finished. Where'd it go? Oh, yeah. Okay. All right, so I'm going to do this without showing you, even though you've seen it. And I wish I had my little tab. I'll find that fabric that I set aside the minute we get off, It'll be right there, staring me in the face. Okay, so here we go. So you come to this page and you think, oh, wow, look at that ghost. Oh, wow, isn't it a cool digital? Wow, that's nice. Ooh, what's this up here? Huh. With the pull tab, it'll just pull right up. What's this? Ah! Ah! Ooh, that's so cool. Well, could it maybe open? Ah! Oh! This is one creepy picture. You gotta admit, that is a very creepy picture. So, I hope you are significantly tricked. I hope you enjoyed this video, maybe got an idea or two. If you make something using some of this idea, I would love it if you tag me. I would love to see if you did this kind of thing, what it was. And below, if you've already done your trick page, let me know what you did, if you can describe it. I think it'd be fascinating, because I do think it's a tough prompt, but the challenge is a big part of the fun. This is a tuck spot, so I have to find something that's not going to distract, but that's going to be equally as interesting to go over here. So that's it, you guys. I've enjoyed spending this time with you very much. I will have a flip through. I may not make every day a prompt just because my life is kind of busy and demanding, but I will have a flip through because it's a cool journal that I put together back then when I had no instruction, and I'd be happy to share it with you because it can certainly be used for other kinds of journals as well, and it makes me think I should do it again myself. And I wish you a very, very happy Halloween. I hope you will look below in the description box if you want any links or any of the designers' names are all from Etsy. And have a safe and fun and spooky Halloween. Take care. Bye-bye.